Hi, Karen Flaherty here from Living by Human Design. Hope you're doing well today. Today, we're going to be talking about the gate 46, which is one of the love gates. It's the love of the flesh, and it's all about our physicality. So let's go. Okay, so this week we've got the sun in gate 46, which is the love of the flesh. It's also called persistence and determination. It's got quite a few names, and it actually embodies. It is about embodiment. It's about being here in the physical, and so it's got actually a lot of different names, a lot of different kind of attributes to this archetype, and so it's a pretty interesting one, and it's also part of the one of the 4 love gates in human design. So here it is on the chart coming off the bottom of the G center. And we've also got the 25 in the earth, which is the love of spirit. So we've actually got 2 of the love gates, and this actually creates part of the vessel of love, which is the incarnation cross that's in right now. So this gate 46 goes from today, September 21st, until the 26th. And as has occurred since September 5th, we continue with the 3420 channel, which is the channel of charisma completely defined, so that all of us have this throat defined and the solar plexus defined, and the throat is motorized. So it gives us a little more of a voice if we're a generator or projector, and it gives the projectors and manifestors and reflectors the sacral energy. And I will say, just be aware that this energy will continue until January 17th in the transits. You may or may not feel it. You may or may not notice that you're feeling it, but I will tell you already that I know one projector who wound up in the hospital, another projector who got a broken leg, and I think that I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that there are things going on, unfortunately, that are having the energies that are having people who don't usually have sacral energy are, kind of taking that energy by the horns and going with it. And I think we all need to be aware of that and careful of that energy, because it's the kind of energy that does need to work and then rest, and just so that you're taking some time to be with yourself and to be aware of the kinds of energies and rest that you need to stay healthy, because I want everybody to stay healthy, and I don't want people getting hurt. And it can be a fragile time if you're not paying attention to what your body really needs. So please be aware of that, and please pay attention. You may or may not get in as much trouble with the motorized voice as you will with a defined sacral. So for the projectors and reflectors and manifestors, I just a word of caution: please be careful, please watch your energy, and please be aware of what your body is telling you that you need to do or not do. Okay, so with the sun in the gate 46 and the earth in the gate 25, we've got the love of the flesh and the love of the spirit. So it's a really nice combination, and it's here to have us appreciate basically our physicality, to have us understand that we're here in this physical matter-filled world that allows us to appreciate what our bodies can do and what we can do. And it is the love of the flesh. It's not in other words, it's sensuous, not sexual energy, because it does come off the G center. Just to make that distinction, there are other gates that have, the 59, for example, has to do with sexuality. This 46 is sensuality. It's all about body consciousness. It's about appreciating our body. It's about, appreciating that we can, run and do, and that we're agile and flexible and vital, that we have vitality. It's all those kinds of things, and appreciation of those. And Richard Rudd says it's gratefulness, basically, for those things. So in the I Ching, it's called pushing upward, and think of it as literally pushing upward and making things happen, right, with the bodies that we have, or determination of the self, because with the vitality that we have, or the persistence and determination that we have, which is also part of this gate. We can have the determination of ourselves. We can have the persistence and determination that we have for our own particular goals and for the things that we set out to achieve. So what they say is that how they describe it here is good fortune that may be perceived as the result of serendipity, but derives actually from effort and dedication. So other people might think we're lucky, but because this gate is very and the feeling of this gate is very much about effort and dedication, persistence and determination, or however else you want to think about it. It's not serendipity at all. It's not luck. It's really from the efforts that are put forth because of this ability to use our bodies in a really conscious way. In IHDS, the incarnation crosses this week are the cross of the vessel of love, serendipity, and the cross of healing. And in the gene keys, we'll talk about that in a second, but seriousness is the shadow, delight is the gift, and ecstasy is the CD. With the gate 25, we've got the love of the spirit, and think of this as the innocence or the spirit of the self, as it's called in the original I Ching. It's the perfection of action through uncontrived and spontaneous nature. It's really about moving forward again with our goals, but perhaps with a little more spirituality, or at least realization of that there's a spiritual side to everything we achieve. And the other half of that channel happens to be the gate of shock, which is the gate 51. And that gate 51 usually spurs us into achieving our goals. And so whether it's from ourselves, something shocking happens from ourselves or from others, it spurs us on to actually achieve our goals. And so that's what this love of spirit allows. Think of it as almost a shamanistic type of experience where you might have a sudden realization, or in fact, a near-death experience is very common with this gate. It's the kind of thing that allows us to get closer to who we really want to be and who we're here to be, and then therefore closer to our life's purpose. In the gene keys, constriction is the shadow, because if we're not living true to ourselves, if we're not living our life purpose, there's some kind of constriction going on, right? Acceptance, accepting ourselves, accepting what's going on in our lives in the present moment is the gift, and universal love is the CD. So the shadow is seriousness here. The gift is delight, and the CD is ecstasy. And this isn't ecstasy in the sexual sense, it's ecstasy in really being in our physicality and loving it, really being grateful for it and appreciating it. And so what Richard says in this graphic is our bodies are the last great untamed wilderness. So we're here to experience that. So we are spirits living in a physical body. That's what I believe. Perhaps you believe that too. And so we're here to really be grateful for, to experience it on a daily basis, and to be present to what's going on. And what I finally realized with this gate is that there are so many moments when we can be grateful, right, for what's going on in our physical vessels, if you will, that there are probably many moments. And what Richard says is that if you can find one moment, that's great. If you can find that one moment that you've been really grateful for your physicality and for how you're living, that's can be recreated, right? And so I started to think about all those moments. And one moment that happened recently was that I had a knee surgery. And after I got out of the surgery and I was able to get up and out of bed, I asked the nurse if I could put, what I said to her was, I guess you don't want me to put any weight on this leg, right? And she said, oh, no, it's fine. Go ahead and put as much weight on it as you want. And I said, you're kidding. Oh my goodness. And, my husband said he could see the amazement in my eyes that I could really delight in that physicality, right? That the knee was working, that I had full function of the knee. All my toes were wiggling and my leg was moving, and I could put the full weight of my body on that leg, not all at once, but with both legs, I was able to do that. And so it was really an amazing feeling, right? To come out of something like that and to be able to function. And so I was so grateful in the moment. I still am. But holding on to that piece of gratefulness is sometimes fleeting, right? So sometimes we're in the moment, sometimes we're not. Sometimes we're present to that gratefulness, and sometimes we're not. And so if you can get to those pieces, that's the CD of this gate. Literally, it's the physicality, it's the gratefulness for that physicality. Think of it as other times you might have felt that might have been if you ski at the top of a mountain, when you're able to see this vast vista of mountains and trees and other people skiing and stuff like that, or if you're in a pool and swimming and just appreciating how your body can move in the water and feel like a fish, right? Or any other time that you can feel that, perhaps when you're with your dog or your cat or your baby or your grandchild or anything like that, anything where you're really appreciating how this physical body that we have is it's something we can depend on for so many things, for breathing, for our heart beating, for just all these different functions that occur almost without our thinking about it. And so if you can get into that sense of gratefulness, that's what this CD of ecstasy is really about. At the very least, it's delight, right? At least it's delight in that we're moving and active, and we can, get around and breathe and have a good time and laugh and dance and all those good things. So this is really what it's about. Now, the opposite is if we're in the ecstasy, right? The opposite is the agony. And so that shadow side of seriousness is really the agony part of it. It's really just taking, for one thing, it's not being in the present, right? It's either looking to the past or to the future, either with worry or concern of some sort. And then the other part is not really appreciating what we have, or what physicality we have, at least, and other things that in life that we might have. So as Richard said, it's living without knowledge or memory of the love of the higher planes means that you can only take life too seriously. Like you can't be playful about it, right? You're not in the serendipity part. But when you're in the serendipity, when you can be light and playful and almost with a sense of delight, of playfulness, of spontaneity, of serendipity, that's when the luck comes in. And so luck is what happens when you stop interfering with life, is what Richard says. And so we think of other people as lucky, but it's, as I said, the persistence and determination of this gate, what allows us to keep going and going and going. That's what the luck is, really. And so, and then he concludes in his chapter about the gate 46 is that only ecstasy can silence the mind, only ecstasy can solve the problems of the world, and only ecstasy can lead to world peace and universal love. And so what this is a love gate. It's all about the love. The more we can move toward that with gratefulness, with gratitude, with appreciation for what we have and what we're able to do and what the world is able to do, what other people are able to do, what people around us are able to do, the more we can appreciate that, whether it's looking at the Olympics or watching what's going on in the world today, the good stuff, right? Not focusing on the stuff that we consider to be bad or upsetting or problematic. Don't focus on those things. Focus on the good stuff. I wish the Olympics could happen all the time, but they can't. So we need to, kind of motivate ourselves to come up with those ideas and to appreciate our own physicality so that we can keep moving forward. So we've got a number of people born, and these would be people born in the right angle cross of the vessel of love, the juxtaposition cross of serendipity, or the left angle cross of healing. And so I'll just mention two people, Linda McCartney and Bruce Springsteen are both in the vessel of love incarnation crosses, and you can kind of see through their lives that they were people who enjoy life, who love, kind of being who they are, because that's another part of this. It's just loving life, loving the journey, loving being who you are, and loving the physicality of it all. This is the kind of energy that has kind of wanting to look good, wanting to express themselves in a very almost dramatic way, right? It's really, it's a fun kind of energy, and it's very attractive. It's off the G center. So it is a very attractive energy. When people get this, when people have it in their charts, and they, especially in their conscious sun, they really get it. They show it off. I mean, think of a Bruce Springsteen or Catherine Zeta-Jones or Olivia Newton-John, Bill Murray, who seems to have a good time no matter where he goes, right? Serena Williams, that look at the physicality of her, persona, her body, her athleticism on the tennis court. It's really amazing to see. Now, Amaji, the hugging saint, as they call her, I just wanted to mention her. She's got the left angle cross of healing, and that's a very different. It's the same conscious sun sign, but it's a little bit different because it's all about healing. And so, literally, she's a reflector, and she, if you haven't heard of her, she goes around from. She used to. I don't know what she's doing during the pandemic, but she used to go around to conference halls, basically convention centers, and have 25,000 people in the place, and she would hug every single one of them. Now, she's a reflector. She would hug them, and basically what they would feel is their own energy, but she would have this healing way about her, and they came away feeling very healed, is the adjective most people use. So she's definitely the cross of healing, and so that's the difference in these two types of crosses, but it's still a very potent energy in terms of being the love of the flesh. And so this week in history, we've got a few things going on. Mostly what I find this week, because it's an entire week of the vessel of love, basically, or at least, a good 4 or 5 days of it, a lot of things happen that you almost wouldn't expect to happen during this period. And I love this week in September because it is, it happened to be a full moon last night, but there's also the fall equinox. It's the vernal equinox in the southern hemisphere, and it's all about changing seasons, right? It's about moving from one to the other, but it's also about this love energy that's pretty prominent, pretty persistent. It's the kind of week when we do have the United Nations coming together for the General Assembly. We have this, I think it's called Citizens United. That's a program in Central Park each year, right around this time. It's the time when there are a number of different festivals and fall things going on to celebrate fall. There's just a good energy in a very light, let's call it, energy in the world that everybody feels. And so I hope you'll be feeling that this week too. And just briefly, in September 22nd, it happened to be the day in 1862 when President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation that was going to become effective as of January 1st, 1863. But it was this day in September of 1862 that he actually created it and issued it. And then in 1961, same day, it happened to be when President Kennedy established the Peace Corps. In 1956, the first transatlantic telephone cable began operation, and President Eisenhower, unfortunately, in 57, had to send troops into Little Rock, Arkansas, to help the Black students as they were being blocked from integrating with their new high schools. The Federal Trade Commission was established in 1914, and in 1960, the first nationally televised debate between two presidential candidates occurred between Kennedy and Nixon. So this is a week of a little bit of lightness, a little bit of, after the heavy feelings of the last few weeks, this should feel a little lighter. Hopefully we'll be feeling that lightness, that love, that's in the air, that feeling of physicality that you can experience, that you can appreciate, that you can be grateful for, and do appreciate all the things that your body gives you, that your body has, kept allowing you to have through this entire period of the pandemic, because many people are not well. And so if you are, and you're able to breathe easily and to appreciate your heart beating and walk in a in a way that suits you, and dance and laugh and pursue the things that make you happy, then please, just say a word of gratefulness for all of that. And I'm grateful for you. So thanks for watching and have a great week. Take care.